Okay, so we are back talking about all things alternate day fasting and doing so when you're running a business and working and you're a mom and you're juggling all the things and trying to incorporate alternate day fasting or ADF into your schedule and into your work life and trying to figure that out. So I do alternate day fasting. I eat 4 days, I fast 3. That's a schedule that I use. But whether you're doing ADF or I'm sorry, ADF or OMAD or just IF or whatever you're doing, you're trying to figure out, at least for me, I was trying to figure out how to incorporate that into my schedule. So I'm an attorney, I own a law firm, and so there's a lot of moving parts into my schedule, and so I worked really hard trying to figure out how to do so in a way that works for me. And so let's just start off with my 4-3 and what that looks like. So if you watch some of my other videos, you know that I do 4-3, where I fast on Tuesday, Thursdays, and Sundays, and then I eat the other 4 days. And so for a true ADF, you would alternate every other day, so each week would be different, right? Because there's 7 days in a week. That's an odd number. Some weeks you would, fast 3 days, the next week you'd fast 4 days, and back and forth. And that doesn't work for me. Like, I need the consistency and predictability of my schedule, especially when it comes to trying to plan out ADF. And so for me, picking Tuesday, Thursdays, and Sundays works great for me for my schedule, and it also is working for me in my weight loss. So if you're trying to figure out if you should do a 4-3 or do a true ADF and you're concerned about not being able to lose weight, for me, it has worked just fine. And as I've mentioned in other videos, like, I've had quite a few weeks where I've messed up, right? Where I've gone on vacation and been out of town and I didn't ADF while I was gone, and still overall for the month I have still continued to lose weight. So it's been working out really well for me. And so if you're trying to figure out what works for you, I would suggest a 4-3 split. So for me, fasting, my fast days are most successful when I'm busy and if I'm not at home. And so when I fast on Tuesday, Thursdays, and Sundays, and we'll talk about Sundays here in a minute because Sundays I've kind of tweaked a little bit. So on Tuesdays, I generally work from home. And on Thursdays, I generally work in the office. And so I go into my office. I have a physical office that I go into on Mondays and Thursdays. And then I work from home the other days. So we're in my home office today, a total catastrophe, but that's okay. And so for me, it is best if I am fasting on a day that I'm not home and I'm actually in the office. I think I'm more successful with my fast and I'm not thinking about food as much. At home, you're surrounded by your kitchen and your pantry and, your kids' snacks are everywhere. And so, you're more inclined to maybe give in and to break your fast versus when I'm at the office, usually because I only work in the office 2 days a week, I'm really busy. So we're doing client signings and I'm doing consultations in person for some people. And so I'm just go with my schedule when I'm at the office on Thursdays. And so fasting on a Thursday is, I would say, easier. It's a lot easier because I'm so busy and preoccupied with what I have going on at work. Versus a day like today, which is a Tuesday that I'm working from home, it's gonna be a little bit harder today, but I feel pretty good about today actually. It's like, I don't know, 11 o'clock or 10:30. And I feel pretty good. I'm a little nasally, I'm a little sinusy, the pollen here in Seattle is crazy right now. And I'm actually flying out tomorrow. I'm going to St. Louis for a law firm owner conference. And so I think I'll bring you along with me for that. For those of you who are attorneys or inspiring attorneys and want to see that and what that looks like, I will share that also separately. But so yeah, I've got a lot going on today as far as just getting things wrapped up for the office before I take off tomorrow morning for St. Louis for that conference. And I'll be gone for 5 days. So I'll have my computer with me. I'll still be working remotely, but I won't be able to get very much done. So I'm really trying to get things wrapped up. And so for today, the plan is to fast, through the whole day today, and then I will not eat again until tomorrow, Wednesday morning. So I last ate, I had some hot tamales last night, which is like one of my favorite candies of all time. And so I had that like at 10 o'clock in bed. I know I shouldn't have like all that sugar, but I just couldn't resist. And so about 10 o'clock is when I stopped eating those. And so that's 2 hours on Monday night and then 24 hours today. And I really like to hit 36 hours in my fasting window between the night before, the day of fasting, and then the morning of. And so with today and 2 hours yesterday, that'd be 36 hours. So ideally I wouldn't eat until 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, but my flight takes off at 10:15 tomorrow morning. So we'll see. I may not make it 36 hours. I might only make it 32 or 33 hours. So I'll probably want to eat a snack before I get on the plane to eat something. Especially because I can get motion sickness, and so I'll take Dramamine, but usually having like something in my stomach before I take off is a good idea also. So I'll hit at least 32, 33 hours. Ideally I would hit 36. And so, but that's what I like about ADF, is that you have the flexibility. So, you'll plan for, 36 hours or whatever your window is for you. And you'll plan for, for me it's a 4-3 split every week or whatever your schedule is. But I feel like I have the flexibility in that if I do something different, if I go off track a little bit, if I only do 32 hours instead of 36, or if I only do a 5-2 instead of a 4-3, like, it's okay, and I can get back on track pretty, I would say, easily. And that's what I like best about ADF opposed to other, I guess I'll just call them diets that I've tried before, is that once I've gone off track and I've like derailed, like I am so far off track. Like I am off track for weeks and weeks and weeks, and I'm gaining everything back and then some. Whereas with ADF, I feel like, if I mess up one day, or if I mess up a week, like I come back that Sunday and I reset and I start again. And I still feel like my fasting days is pretty like empowering. Like I feel pretty like strong and in control on my fasting days. And so it definitely feels good to reset with the fasting day. And so that's what I appreciate most about ADF, is that I feel like getting back on track isn't impossible. If I have a mistake, like it's okay, whereas before I felt like it wasn't okay. And so with ADF and with incorporating it into my work schedule, for you, if you're trying to figure out how to do the same, you'll want to really take a look at your schedule and figure out, there's going to be some days that are just not good fasting days for you. So don't plan those as your fasting days. Like, don't set yourself up to fail. Like for me, I couldn't do Fridays. Fasting on a Friday would not work for me, because Fridays are usually days that, I'm seeing friends, going out for a happy hour, having dinner with friends. And I just know that Fridays are not going to work for me. And same with Saturdays. Like Saturdays wouldn't work for me either. Just with, my family and, what we have going on. I just know that that's not, good for me. And also I'll add on Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, I usually get in some pretty good cardio. I do my 4-mile trail, and I've shared it many, many times in other videos that I do every morning. And I didn't do it this morning just because I'm flying out tomorrow and I've got a lot that I need to get done today, so I just didn't have the time to do so, and because I'm kind of nasally and I'm taking off tomorrow, I just figured, like, let me just not really do any cardio right now. I need to keep getting better. And but doing that on those mornings really helps set up that day, that fasting day, for success. So, if I'm dropping off my kids at school in the morning, my daughter starts like 8:05, my son starts around 9. And so if I'm getting to my trail around 9:15, doing my 4-mile trail and getting back home around, like, I don't know, 10:15, 10:30, like, the day is already halfway over. Now, I know I was sleeping for most of the day for that part, right? Because I I'm getting up at like 6:30. And so I know I've slept most of the day, but for me to know like, okay, I've gotten the kids off to school, I've gotten some really good cardio in, I've burned probably 600 or so calories, maybe 700 sometimes, depending on how, you know, vigorous I am on the trail. It's almost, you know, it's getting close to noon, and I fasted, you know, for the first half of the day. Like, I already feel like, okay, like I'm halfway there. I'm killing it today. Let's finish out today strong. And so you want to set yourself up for success on your fasting days and not for failure. So if doing a true alternate day fast where you alternate from week to week, if that lack of predictability is not going to work for you, and you know yourself, you know what's going to work, you know what's going to not work. If you know that's not going to work, don't do it that way. Like, you know, there's no point in making things harder for yourself. If you're new to ADF and you're transitioning into this ADF kind of lifestyle, do what you can to make it easier for you. Don't make it harder. So don't feel like you have to do what I do. You don't have to do what any other, you know, person on YouTube or what a book says. Like, get the information, hear what works for other people, and then develop a plan that's going to work for you that you can succeed on. Because once you started to have some success and you've been able to do your fast and you've seen some weight loss or you've seen the health improvement, it's going to help build that momentum for you to keep going forward and to keep doing it. So maybe ADF isn't right for you. Maybe IF is better. Or maybe, you know, a 36-hour window is not going to work for you. Maybe it's, you know, just a 24-hour window or a 28-hour window or whatever it may be. But once you figure out what that is, and it might take some, you know, some trying it out and testing and failing and seeing what works for you, but just keep trying. I really enjoy ADF. Again, I enjoy the predictability of it. I enjoy that. I feel like it's very like forgiving. Like, I can make mistakes on it. I can go on vacation and eat, you know, whatever, and come back and jump right back into it with, you know, Sunday morning or whatever day I returned. So that's what I've enjoyed. And this is, you know, a bit about how I've incorporated ADF into my work schedule. So I hope this was helpful. If you're, you know, like me and you're a busy parent and a spouse, and if you're running a business, you know, if you've got a busy career and trying to figure out how to put it all together, hopefully this helped you and kind of give you some guidance and suggestions and maybe some tips that will work for you. So that's a wrap on this one, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.